I will like to invite my colleague Vinita Parmar, who actually is a project manager in the FOSSI team, and she will be talking about the various benefits you can have by contributing to FOSSI's eSIM effort and FOSSI's other activities also. She will be really touching upon. Hi, Vinita.
Hi, Usha. Thank you for
Yeah, the podium
introducing
is
me.
yours.
Yeah, thank you. So, hi everyone. As Usha told, I'm also one of the project managers of FOSSI. It's really great to see you all learning for all these days, and you people have been doing a great work. So, what I'm here for, I'm here for to talk that after so much learning, what is your faida? What is your benefit? So let me share my screen. I have a small presentation for you all. So I'll talk about some faidas, what you have learned, what benefits you can do after contributing to FOSSI. So yeah, so I'm here to talk about how contribution to the FOSSI activities will benefit you. So, as ma'am, Kimberly ma'am has already spoken about what FOSSI do, and you have been hearing that we promote open source software, we reduce dependency, and we have other softwares also which we promote like Scilab, Python, DWSim, OpenModelica, OpenFOAM.
Uh,
So you already know what FOSSI is doing, and we are promoting open source software. And we are trying to reduce the dependency on the proprietary software. This in turn will improve the education quality in our colleges, and students will also get benefit from this. So we, apart from eSIM, we are also promoting Scilab, Python, OpenModelica, DWSim, AllStack, R, OpenFOAM, QGIS. We also have open hardware projects, and we are doing something related to animations also. So Focal is the project which supports Synfig, Inkscape, etc. So for infographics. So our project is funded by Government of India, and it's a NME ICT project. So we have various activities in FOSSI. To list a few, we have textbook companion project, we have lab migration, we have software activities which are very particularly niche in that particular software. So I'll tell you what textbook companion is. Textbook companion is we aim to port solved examples from standard textbook using free and open source software. Now, since the documentation for open source software is less, we don't have a good documentation, and we have very less documentation for open source software. That's why we have come up with this project called Textbook Companion Project, where you can take any standard textbook, see the solved examples of that textbook. See, I'm talking about solved example, not the other examples which are present in the textbook. Only the solved example, you can actually code that in equivalent software, say Scilab, R, OpenModelica, and so on, right? So that is a very good project which you can contribute. We have lab migration. Lab migration, as you already know, aims to migrate the labs, proprietary labs, to a FOSS only labs. We help colleges to do this, and uh, it is of great benefit. So niche software activities, we have case study projects in OpenFOAM and R. Now we have come up with a new project, case study project in R, where you can take up any solved project and code the same thing in get the same results in OpenFOAM and R. We also have flow sheeting project in DWSim and OpenModelica, where you will code the flow sheets in take any flow sheets and code that into DWSim and OpenModelica. You already know about circuit simulation project, where you take any circuit which is already existing circuit, and you produce the same results in eSIM and match the results. So that we have for eSIM. We have power system simulation in OpenModelica. It uses OpenPLC, Open IPSL library, sorry. So we have all these for use. Apart from this, we also have internship opportunities. Now, we already were doing FOSSI Summer Fellowship from 2018, and we have a great response, and our fellows have been doing very well after attending the fellowship. And this year we have started semester long internship, wherein the student can work with us for one semester, and it will get more exposure, etc. We also conduct these kind of workshops, and we also have conferences which benefits, and you people gain knowledge from it. So under eSIM, we particularly have circuit simulation project. So I actually wanted to show you the website from where the completed circuit simulation is. And Usha, can you go to that? Huh? So go to completed circuits. So as Kimberly ma'am said that you should contribute in this project. So I wanted to show you that, see, there are so many circuits which have already been done by so many people. Their name is coming, their college is coming. So it is a pride for the student faculty member as well as the college faculty, college institution also. So that's one benefit you get, and this link stays forever. And as now Usha has clicked on download codes, you can actually show the work which have done. You can actually download the abstract. You can get what exactly it is. You can know what the person has done. So everything stays here forever. So that's one thing, and you can also use it. So it's a great resource as well, which everyone can use. So lab migration project, as I already told you, we already have migrated many colleges lab in eSIM, and we would want your college also to come forward and migrate it. So I'll tell you what are the benefits of the institutions in my uh, next slides and all. So yeah, you should also go for lab migration. It's very useful. So fellowship and internship, definitely. Usha, can you go to fellowship, fossee.in fellowship internship page? Yeah, just can you click? Yeah, so can you go down? So here I wanted to show Subanto's name and Ashutosh's name here. Can you scroll down to eSIM? So there are many people who have contributed to other projects as well. So here we can see Sumanto's name. Yeah, we see Sumanto's name. We see other people like Shubhangi Mahajan. So all these people were contributed in 2020 with us. And when you click here, you can actually see the work which they have done. They have put in so much efforts. What exactly they have done? What how they have built step by step. If you see this report, they have actually written the implementation, the problem statement, what they have gone through. So all these things you can actually use also, that some person has done this work, you can start from there. But already these people have done so much work that their name is on our website, and if someone wants to recruit them, definitely they can see this, that what exact work they have done and what experience they have in eSIM. So yeah, as I was already telling, I'll tell you the benefits. So now those who are the student audience, please listen to me carefully. First of all, you learn open source software. It's a very great thing to learn. Not everyone takes the initiative to learn open source software, and it's a good thing to learn a new thing, and in a good way. So you learn open source software, and you try to implement this in your projects, and you try to create a, so definitely your project will be different from the project which other students have done, because it is open source software. So you try to build more sophisticated projects, right? So that marks you different from the other crowd. So that's about learning the open source software and implementing it. You get to interact when, if you do a fellowship or anything with us, you get to interact with us, with IIT Bombay faculty members. They give you a little bit of guidance how to go about your about the software, about your career. So it's a big thing to get little exposure. Also is beneficial for students. Like, and as I told you, you also get awarded. We give you certificate from IIT Bombay, FOSSEE IIT Bombay, and we give you a web page recognition which stays for lifetime, where you can present your work to the employers. You can go for higher studies, you can go for any other internships. We have many testimonials also we have received, that even this small contribution takes them to next level. So we always, as I told you, Sumanto's name is there. As I showed you, circuit simulation link, we already have mentioned their name along with their institution. So that tells everything about the profile of that person in that particular software. So that's a big thing, right? And we also, you have employment opportunities. You use all these things to, build up your career. You get a job somewhere, maybe in a niche software where people are looking for people who know simulation, who know Scilab, who know this, so who knows open source software. So, and we also, if you do excellent work, we also can hire you, as we have done. We did Rahul, even we offered Ashutosh for joining us, but unfortunately he had some other commitments already. So yeah, so we have that for students. Now, what do we have for faculty members? Definitely, the faculty members also gain knowledge in the floss. You can use this knowledge in your research, in your coursework, in your what if studies. So you, even the faculty members stand apart from the from your other colleagues, that you are doing something different from them, right? And if you contribute to any of the project, like lab migration and all, so your institution and you as a faculty member also get recognized, and you also are awarded uh, a certificate. So, and of course you save lots of money of your institution. So open source is cost effective, so you get recognition from your institute as well in terms of using floss and saving money, which can be used, that money can be used for other infrastructure or any other important things. So that way you also get recognized in your institution. So getting associated with a government project also gives you a good recognition. Already, I think Maheshwari ma'am and everyone has told about the NAC accreditations. So that also adds one more thing as a benefit. You get an opportunity to become, if you contribute constantly with us and you are associated with us for a very long time, we give you opportunity to become a FOSSEE champion and your institution to become a FOSSEE club. I will tell in detail about FOSSEE club in my next slides. So what are the benefits of the institution? Definitely the institution saves money, recognition, you get recognition and improves NAC credits of your institution. If you contribute to FLOSS, you get opportunity to become a FOSSEE club. Now, what is a FOSSEE club? Usha, can you click on that FOSSEE club? Yeah. So can you click on list of FOSSEE clubs? So we have these colleges. Your college institute name already comes up here as a FOSSEE club. Now, if you click on Saint Xavier's Catholic College of Engineering, you see what work they have done. So they have done so much of work. And these are the names of the faculty which are involved and what work they are doing. Right? Professor Jane Marshall have been with us like since more than 5-6 years of contribution, and he has been working closely with us. So this way, your college can become a FOSSEE club. You can show what is FOSSEE club to them. Usha, I want you to go to that website. Yeah. So what is a FOSSEE club? FOSSEE club is an institution which works same like FOSSEE, right? So if you contribute for a very long time, you know everything about FOSSEE, and your institution can also become a FOSSEE club, and you can be the representative and become a FOSSEE champion for that, right? So that is amazing to become a FOSSEE club. Your college getting listed here, and there are NEC credits for that also, and you get a certificate, you get awarded. We had a proponent symposium last March 2020. Luckily we had before pandemic. So yeah, we awarded our top contributors, and they also got motivated. I know Professor Maheshwari already spoke about this yesterday. So it's a great thing to join hands with us, and you get benefited a lot. So institute gets recognized, employment and internship opportunities for the students and faculty members as well. So I already spoke about this earlier. So yeah, so you get employment opportunities. Your students also gets placed well, and the institution gets recognized well. There are internship opportunities for the people who are already with us. Like Ashutosh was from VIT, and VIT has been contributing a lot with us. So he came up and we told him to do a semester long internship with us, and he has been, I'm sure he has been benefited a lot, and we can see that. Yeah. So now we have few industry people also. So it's just not a benefit for academics. We have benefits for industry people also. You should not be left out. Open source gives benefits to everyone. So definitely open source is cost effective. You don't have a burden of, pirated versions or maintaining license of so many software versions of your employees. The management of the license becomes very simple if you are using an open source software. You have a freedom to modify your code. No one is going to question you that why did you modify. There is, freedom of modifying. There is a flexibility available for industry people to use open source software, and definitely there is a great support from you get a great support from open source community if you are using open source software. So I would want you to leave with this thought, which Dr. Abdul Kalam, from which Professor Kannan actually started from this, and I would also like to close here. So Professor Dr. Abdul Kalam also has told that if India moves to open source software, it is going to be a big benefit for our billions of people. So we should actually move to open source software and contribute to activities like FOSSEE, which helps you gain benefit as well as knowledge, and we are always there to support you and tell you about FOSSEE. If you don't understand anything, we are readily available, just a mail away. We have given you all the contacts, so you can just write to us. And now you know eSIM, so you can start contributing. It's a great software, amazing software, and we are here to support you. Start contributing to circuit simulation. We will help you start contributing to lab migration. So your institute will also be like proud of you that you are saving lots of money and you are doing something different from other faculty members. So yeah, start contributing. Thank you. So anyone has any questions to ask me?
What will, if I want to do it for first year students just entering to the engineering? So what will the scope to of that, and can we utilize this software for first year students, like basic electrical engineering or so?
Yes, definitely. I think if there is a electronic circuit simulation course, definitely you can go ahead and use this software.
Rather, we have electrical circuits is in DC, steady state analysis and so on. So,
I think we can use. Saurabh, can you just...
So for first year students, I think the first year is common to everyone. But definitely they can, now the generation is like moving ahead. Yes. So they can start exploring eSIM, and they can start doing circuit simulation. They can propose a basic circuit, or they can, use our completed circuit simulations as a resources to learn that what this circuit simulation is all about, what does the eSIM do. So they can start exploring. So when they come to their second year and third year, and then when they are introduced to the actual course, they will know this very well.
Yes.
So it will be very useful. So.
Yeah, that's what my purpose was. We'll be limiting to the simulation only. Not the PCBs and all.
Yeah. I would rather.
I think mainly it depends on your course or your syllabus. So whatever, all these facilities, whatever we have showed today and the past 2 days are available with you now. So according to your students' syllabus and whatever your course specifications are, accordingly you can use any features of eSIM there. But I think the first year also, I think this eSIM can be used.
Yeah, sure, madam. I'll do that for my students. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So, are they peer reviewed with contribution levels? I didn't get you. Regarding what you are asking, is the exact same thing that Professor Kimberly is discussing, right? Yes. So, actually, Professor Kimberly also had contributed to both circuit simulation project, and she has also encouraged her students also to contribute. So these are the things, and mostly whatever is submitted, our team members uh, evaluate it, and only after that it is published on the web page. So actually, one more announcement I want to make is that we have already sent the feedback form to your registered email address. So if you can take 5 minutes time, you can please fill it up, and then you can give your feedback. It can be done later also, but we will like as many people as to fill that feedback form, because it actually gives us a lot of inputs and insights about the workshop which we conduct. So if you have any comments or any feedback about our sessions, or anything which you expected and didn't find in these sessions, so you please can let us know, so that we definitely can improve on those aspects. Are there any comments?
Or rather, you can share what you have experienced in all these 3 days, if you don't want to specifically tell anything about it.
Definitely, everything we have asked in the feedback form, we will like you to fill it up and let us know your um whatever opinion, or your that is unhappiness, anything you can share it with us, so that it all actually gives is an information or input to us to improve. So we will like your sincere and any sort of feedback from you, comments, even it can be comments also, not even feedback.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, I just let me just answer that question. Umayal has asked, eSIM on cloud and Arduino on cloud feature was very interesting. What are the future plans on that being available as a platform? We are actually very much interested in developing and actually making it available for everyone. And we have actually floated the internship for that also, and students have applied. So in some time we will actually shortlist some students, and we will take them, and probably it may be developed in much faster rate, and it will be available for public in some time. Ma'am, my spoken tutorial are not covered yet. Will the questions be answered? So always you can put your questions in the forum, and that is actually a constant thing which we do. So even if workshops are not going on also, whatever questions come on forums, we answer them. Normally our timing is within 24 hours, we try to answer them. So you can actually put all your questions there. And as Saurabh has already told you, you can even contact us through the contact hyphen eSIM email ID. So we can just post it once again for you on the chat window, and we will definitely answer your queries. So for any problems, you can post it, and if it is related to spoken tutorials, definitely the spoken tutorial forum. Otherwise, there is another forum which FOSSEE also maintains, which actually gives the answers to the eSIM specific queries. It is not so there is no spoken tutorial coming there. It's just eSIM. If you have any doubt, so you can also go to the FOSSEE forum. Saurabh, can you just type the FOSSEE forum and our email ID on the chat window?
Yes, ma'am. I have pasted the link for the FOSSEE forums.
Yeah, okay.
There's one question which I would like to answer.
Yeah.
Vidya has asked, ma'am, I want to change my registration mail ID for future workshops. So please guide me. So I think you can write a mail to eOutreach, from where you have got the guidelines email and all. They will help you with that.
And one person in the morning had asked whether we will be having any exam for this workshop. So I want to make it clear that we will not have any workshop. We are actually giving you a skill. You already know the basics of circuit simulation and all. So we don't have to teach all those stuff. We are just giving you a skill. So that actually comes with practicing. So with these 3 days and one exam, I don't think we will be able to judge you by these 3 days. So this exam we don't want to conduct, but we will want you to continue using it. And as yesterday Professor Sebin Sani had told, first it will be, you may feel it is very difficult, but after I think around 2-3 weeks, you will start getting comfortable with it, and probably in no time you will be able to use it like our team members. So I think it is just some time you need. So we will not be having any examination for this workshop. So you have to log into your NME ICT webpage where you have the dashboard. There it will be available. Yeah, about NGHDL. Thank you, Purushottam. So again, about NGHDL, we are actually planning to make more spoken tutorials, and we will make it available hopefully very soon. And whatever documents are available, which it was shared by Saurabh in the chat window, and definitely you can have all this code on the GitHub also. So it is all available. It is open source. So everything is available, and always we are just an email or email away. So you can just give us a mail and we will be replying to that. Any other questions or comments?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, actually, I'm very interested in this circuit simulation and part, and I would also like to involve some of the students who are interested. But
Definitely, yeah.
I'm also learning it new. Even though this was last time also I wanted to attend this, I missed it. And some of the sessions, because we had classes and I had missed. But I think by listening to the spoken tutorials and practicing, we should be able to do it. So my query is, I myself am not very comfortable. I mean, I would take some time. So if I introduce my students to it also, if they have queries, so should what do I do? Tell them to watch the spoken tutorials themselves and work on
Definitely,
it?
I think it is the first step you can tell them rather than you giving, because always Kannan sir, what he tells is that as per in his opinion, actually, spoken tutorials are more effective, because each spoken tutorial we actually do a lot of checks. So first we check whether a new person who just knows the basics of electronics and who is not familiar with eSIM is actually comfortable with the script or the video, and then only we actually publish it. So we have a lot of checks, then only after that it is coming to you. He says that rather than live sessions where you teach each of them, and each of them will be asking n number of questions, and it will be actually chaos. So the first step which you can do is that ask them to practice through the spoken tutorial and get familiar with that. And the current generation, I somehow feel that they will pick up faster than the faculty members. That is sadly the fact. So I think they are really very good techies. So I think they will be able to pick up much faster. So I think it is better they take care through the spoken tutorials, learn it, and then I think if you can motivate them to go for the circuit simulation projects and all, they naturally become very proficient in that, as Professor Kimberly rightly said. If you have some proposal and if you are there is a time bound project which needs to be completed, so definitely they will do it in some way or the other. They will try to complete it and they will do it. So I think spoken tutorial is the good starting point where they can learn eSIM, and then definitely once you also do it for I think 2 or 3 weeks, I think it will be easy for you also, and definitely we are there to help you.
Thank you. And another thing is, once when we are doing the PCB layout and all, how do we actually? I mean, is there any particular help other than the spoken tutorials? Like, I do not have much idea about PCB layout design and all. So, how do you choose the exact what do you say dimensions and whatever?
Yeah. So I will just ask Saurabh to ask this technical question.
So, ma'am, um, just like other areas of circuit design, so PCB design are also a very vast field. So, so this is the tutorials we have provided just give you a very abstract overview of what the components are. So, if you want to get into depth, so there are some reference books that are available for PCB design, which deals with certain things. So there are some aspects which come into picture, like EMC and EMI compliance. So those sort of things we have not covered because it's very high level stuff, and usually those things are dealt at through experts. So those sort of things we do not cover. But if you want to know more, there are some books. I believe there are some books which reference books which may be available in library and in open source materials also, which you can refer to for these kind of things. And if you have some doubts, I mean, as much as possible, we will also like to help. We have an expert with us who has done a lot of PCB designing work named Vishnu. Uh, Vishnu. So if there are some queries, he can like multi-layer PCB designing, or how do you handle the EMI EMC issues. Uh, so those sort of things we have some expertise in that, so we'll be able to help you if some questions arises in some higher areas.
We actually have a hardware team also who actually work with us, so they also will be able to help you out. And
Okay,
Vishnu
ma'am.
and all are in the hardware team, so they can definitely help you out.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Yeah. Any other comments? So, has anyone filled the, or many of you fill the feedback form, I expect. So I will really encourage you to do that, which actually gives us a lot of useful information to improve on our workshops. So next week we have, if you see in our NME ICT webpage, we have other workshops also lined up. So we have DWSIM, which is a chemical process simulator. That workshop is actually going to happen next week. Then there is a workshop on OpenFOAM, which is actually a computational fluid dynamics software. Then Chem Collective, which is actually a chemistry lab software. And then we have, of course, Scilab, which is actually an alternative to MATLAB, which is also lined up. So these workshops are coming up. So if your colleagues or anyone else or you yourself is interested, please take a look at the syllabus and all. And if interested, please register for the same. So if no one has any more questions.
Actually, ma'am, I just have, I have a quick comment to offer before we conclude. So to all the participants, I have one request, and this is regarding the tool. So, some of you face problems like, NGSDL is not opening, this path is missing, this permission is not there. So things like that. So what we have is we have some limited resources at our end in terms of manpower. We actually have few people. So if you can, some of you can volunteer to become testers of the software. We can give you some packages to from time to time to install and check, run some basic checks, which we internally do. If you have a larger base of testing for people who can test different kind of things, so we'll be able to have supply a more robust software than we have right now. And the bugs that you found today, if you can you can email them email them to us. We'll be in coming week or so we'll be able to address each one of you, each one of you. So that would be great. So this since this is an open source project and people, this is how open source projects grow, that users themselves contribute, testers, and they provide feedback. So if we can have that, if someone can volunteer, or even if you report one bugs, even bug reporting is a good method to improve feedback on
Open
this
source
thing.
projects, yeah.
Yeah. So I highly urge everyone to, you know, if you can spare the time, if you can spare the time towards this activity. Yeah,
Okay.
Sri
Yes,
Ranjani,
ma'am.
thank you,
We will
thank you.
definitely keep note of your name, ma'am.
Yeah. So yeah, really great. Thank you. So yeah, that's all I wanted to share basically. So due to the lack of lack nahi, the
Resources, yeah.
yeah
Actually, we are,
resources.
and I think whoever you saw today and yesterday and all are the people who are actually working on eSIM. So it will be very good if someone actually helps us in. We don't want. We definitely want students and all contributing in the software, and the faculty members are also interested in software development. Actually, yesterday Rahul had also mentioned the things which. Are yet to be done in eSIM. So those things, and Ashutosh also mentioned that there are other microcontrollers which we want to implement in eSIM. So these kind of projects, if software contribution is also there, we are welcoming that. And apart from that, testing also is one of the important thing, as most of the people are the day-to-day users of electronics. I think you will be able to give us more insights on actually what is the problem or what is the bug which you are facing. So we really want you people to contribute on that front also. And apart from that, we also want you to contribute for these activities so that eSIM will have a lot of resources. And you can also refer to, the students can also refer to that if they are actually interested in starting the or learning the software. So we have a lot of examples which they can refer to, and they can actually get more comfortable with eSIM. So definitely that was a very good suggestion from you, Saurabh, and I also really urge you to contribute in that direction. So, if nothing else is there, I will like to thank you all for spending your precious time on this software, and you actually felt that it is worth learning this software. So, and I think we have met your expectations, and I will actually urge you to continue using it and give the uh, good feedback, and also any bugs and all you report to us, and it will be very helpful to us. And we also ask you to encourage your students to contribute to this project, and if you want to use it in your labs, definitely we welcome your proposals in the lab migration activity, and we can actually help you in migrating your normal electronics lab which use some other software or some proprietary software to the open source software eSIM. And I will like to thank you all for coming and attending this workshop. And I will also like to thank my mentor or our PI, who is Professor Kannan, who actually had lot of vision about this open source software and how it can actually benefit the students and teachers of this country. And even now, even we feel that industry also can take good benefit from this open source software, because they are no less than the commercial counterparts. So we actually thank Professor Kannan for his vision. And we also will like to thank our funding agency, Pandit Madan Mohan Malavia National Mission on Teachers and Teaching, and the FOSSEE project and the Spoken Tutorial project. All these projects are funded by the Ministry of Education, Government of India. And I thank all our our funding agency. And lastly, I wish you all very best, and also very good journey. Continue your journey with eSIM, and I wish you a good evening. Thank you.